Bonjour, this is Learn French with Frida. Bienvenue. Today we are going to learn about how to introduce ourselves by saying where we live. And so we are going to learn about the verb habiter, how to conjugate it, and how to tell people where we live using the verb habiter. The verb habiter means to live. So this is the verb we use when you want to tell people where you live, to ask people where they live. And one of the ways to introduce yourself in French is by saying where you live. Bienvenue. Let me first do a short recap. How do you say your name in a French sentence? When someone asks you, comment tu t'appelles? What do you say? Je m'appelle Frida. Now the question here will be, où habites-tu? Where do you live? Où habites-tu? Where do you live? And so we will start by conjugating the verb habiter in present tense, and then we will try to form sentences using the verb habiter conjugated in present tense. And finally, you will tell me where you live in French. This is how we conjugate the verb habiter in present tense. J'habite, tu habites, il habite, elle habite. And the plural, nous habitons, vous habitez, ils habitent, elles habitent. J'habite means I live, tu habites, you live, il habite, he lives, elle habite, she lives. Nous habitons, we live. Vous habitez, you live, many of you. Ils habitent, they live if they are boys. Elles habitent, they live if they are girls. And some of my students asked me, what if they are mixed up, like they are boys and girls? Do we say ils habitent or elles habitent? We say ils habitent if they are mixed. But if you're sure they are girls only, elles habitent. Let's now try and form sentences using the verb habiter conjugated in present tense. The first sentence is, I live with my grandparents. I live with my grandparents. J'habite avec mes grands-parents. J'habite avec mes grands-parents. Second sentence, you live in Barcelona. You live in Barcelona, many of you. That will be, vous habitez à Barcelona. Vous habitez à Barcelona. Third sentence, they live in Poland. The girls, they live in Poland. That will be, elles habitent à Pologne. Elles habitent à Pologne. Fourth sentence, you live in Nairobi. You live in Nairobi. That will be, tu habites à Nairobi. Tu habites à Nairobi. And fifth sentence, we live in Kenya. We live in Kenya. That will be, nous habitons au Kenya. Nous habitons au Kenya. At this point, let's look at this preposition in. I live in Kenya, I live in Nairobi, I live in Paris, I live in France. That preposition in French takes many forms. As you have seen in those sentences, we have a, we have o, we have on. A is used for only cities, towns, estates, different places. Like when you say, j'habite à Nairobi, I live in Nairobi, because Nairobi is a city. J'habite à Paris. I live in Paris. Paris is a city, so we are using the preposition à. Nous habitons à Mombasa. We live in Mombasa. Mombasa is a town or a city, so we are using a. Let's look at O. O is used for masculine countries. Masculine countries mostly are the countries whose names don't end with letter E. Mostly, not all, mostly. Most of them don't end with letter E. They are French names. For example, Kenya. If you want to say I live in Kenya, you'll say J'habite au Kenya. J'habite au Kenya. Let's look at another country, Senegal. Do you live in Senegal? That will be habites-tu au Sénégal? Habites-tu au Sénégal? The next preposition is on. On is used for the countries whose names are feminine and also for the countries whose names start with a vowel. For example, Tanzania. If you want to say we live in Tanzania, you'll say nous habitons en Tanzanie. Nous habitons en Tanzanie. France. If you want to say she lives in France, you'll say elle habite en France. Elle habite en France. Let's have an example of a country whose name starts with a vowel. Amérique. They live in America, the boys. You'll say, ils habitent en Amérique. Ils habitent en Amérique. Then we have the fourth preposition, au. This is for the countries or for places that are in plural. For example, Seychelles. They live in Seychelles. They live in Seychelles. That will be ils habitent aux Seychelles. Ils habitent aux Seychelles. How about Comoros? We live in Comoros. That will be nous habitons aux Comoros. Nous habitons aux Comoros. I hope that by now you've understood how we are using these prepositions. A, O, on, O. Let's now have an exercise that you're going to answer in your books for you to see whether you've understood how the verb is used in sentences and how it's conjugated in present tense. Here are the sentences. Michelle dash a New York. Michelle dash a New York. What will be the answer? Michelle habite à New York. Second sentence. Mes amis dash avec nous. Mes amis dash avec nous. What will be the answer? Mes amis habitent avec nous. Because that's third person plural. Mes amis habitent avec nous. Third sentence. Ma sœur et moi dash à Paris. Ma sœur et moi dash à Paris. What will be the answer? Try that one. Ma sœur et moi, my sister and I, that's first person plural. Habitons à Paris. Très bien, habitons à Paris. Fourth sentence. Vous dash en France. Vous dash en France. Vous habitez en France. Très bien. And lastly, for this exercise, Paul et Marie dash à côté d'église. Paul et Marie dash à côté d'église. Paul et Marie habitent, third person plural, à côté d'église, next to the church. Well done. Have you now practiced enough? Or you need another practice activity? Check out for more on my channel, where I'll be giving you more practice sessions of the things we have learned about. Today we were learning about the verb habiter, and we have learned how to use the verb in present tense in sentences. We have also learned how to use the preposition in that takes 4 forms in French. If there is any part you've not understood and you need to clarify, please reach out to me on my email, frenchwithfrida@gmail.com, or on the comment section below. Now, would you like to answer the question où habites-tu? Où habites-tu? Moi, j'habite à Nairobi, au Kenya. Et toi, où habites-tu? Answer that question on the comment section below. Now you can say your name and where you live. Je m'appelle Frida. J'habite à Nairobi, au Kenya. Et toi, comment tu t'appelles? Où habites-tu? Answer that in the comments section below. That's your homework for this week. Thank you for joining me today as I was teaching you about the verb habiter. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please make sure you do so that you can always receive notifications every time I upload a new video. Like this video and share it too with your networks so that other people can also learn some French. This is Learn French with Frida. Over for now. See you in the next video.